Welcome to the Pencil Bob channel. I hope you enjoy my stories. Please like and subscribe, and hit that notification icon so you never miss out. Now on with the stories.
Alright, so here's the deal. I'm gonna lay it all out for you, just how it's been going down in our little slice of suburban hell. Buckle up, cause this is gonna be a wild ride through the treacherous waters of HOA politics and petty neighborhood drama. I'm just your average Joe, right? I work from home as a software developer, minding my own business, trying to live my life in peace. But apparently that's too much to ask in this godforsaken community we call home. It all started a few months back. I got this warning out of the blue about parking in front of my own damn garage. Can you believe that? My garage, my property, but apparently I can't even use it the way I want. They've got this rule about it being a fire lane or some BS like that. 20 minutes, they say. That's all you get for unloading groceries or whatever. 20 freaking minutes. Now, I'm not one to cause trouble, you know. I try to follow the rules, be a good neighbor, and all that jazz. But this just rubbed me the wrong way. The warning came with a single photo. Just one snapshot of my car in front of the garage. No context, no timestamp, nothing. For all I know, that car could have been there for 5 minutes or 5 hours. How the hell am I supposed to defend myself against that? I let it slide though, figured it wasn't worth the hassle. But man, was I wrong. Fast forward 3 months and bam, it happens again. This time I was just cleaning out my car, pulled it out of the garage for maybe half an hour tops. I was in and out of the house, you know how it is when you're trying to get stuff done. Must have missed the neighborhood snitch creeping around taking pictures of my property. That's when I decided enough was enough. I mean, who do these people think they are? The HOA board, more like the neighborhood Gestapo if you ask me. So I started thinking, how can I be a real pain in their ass? How can I make them regret ever messing with me? I've got some ideas, let me tell you. First off, there's the whole car identification thing. My ride doesn't have a front plate, and it's a pretty common model, nothing special that stands out. So I'm thinking, what if I just play dumb? That wasn't my car, I'll say. Let's see them prove otherwise, but that's just the beginning. Remember how I said I'm a software developer? Well, I've got some tricks up my sleeve. I'm gonna make this community the least profitable one they've ever seen. I'm talking about automating the hell out of support tickets and follow-ups. They want to play games? I'll flood their system with so much crap they won't know which way is up. I'm thinking about setting up a bot that'll generate random complaints every hour. The grass in the common area is 0.25 inches too long. The stop sign at the corner is 0.5 degrees off-center. The clouds above our community don't look fluffy enough. Let's see how they handle that. And don't even get me started on the meetings. Oh, you bet I'm gonna show up to every single one of them. I'll filibuster those suckers until the sun comes up if I have to. I've got a whole list of ridiculous proposals I'm gonna bring up. Motion to require all residents to hop on 1 foot while walking their dogs. Proposal to paint all houses in alternating stripes of neon pink and green. Let's see how they like dealing with that nonsense. I'm also considering starting a neighborhood watch, but not your regular boring neighborhood watch. Oh no, I'm talking about a 24/7 surveillance operation focused solely on the homes of HOA board members. Two can play at this game of constant monitoring, right? And the best part? I'm gonna do it all by the book. I'll read every single line of our HOA bylaws, find every loophole, exploit every vague wording. They want to play hardball, I'll show them hardball. But here's the thing that really gets me, you know. It's not just about the parking. It's about the principle of the whole thing. Who are these people to tell me what I can and can't do on my own property? I pay my dues, I keep my lawn mowed, I don't cause trouble. But apparently, that's not enough for these power-tripping busybodies. I've been talking to some of the neighbors, and turns out I'm not the only one fed up with this crap. There's a whole undercurrent of discontent, bubbling just beneath the surface of our picture-perfect community. People are tired of the constant nitpicking, the arbitrary rules, the feeling of always being watched. So I'm thinking, why stop at just being a pain in the ass? Why not go for a full-on revolution? I'm talking about rallying the troops, getting everyone who's sick of this BS together. We could stage protests at every HOA meeting, make signs, chant slogans, the whole 9 yards. Hey, hey, ho, ho, HOA has got to go, has a nice ring to it, don't you think? I've even thought about running for the HOA board myself. Can you imagine me, the very thorn in their side, sitting at their table voting on their precious rules? Oh, the changes I could make from the inside. First order of business, abolish all parking restrictions. Second, mandatory Margarita Mondays for all residents. Let's see them try to find me for that. But you know what really gets under my skin? The sneakiness of it all. These people, whoever they are, creeping around taking pictures of our cars, our homes, our lives. It's like living in some kind of twisted surveillance state. And for what? To catch someone parked in front of their own garage for a few minutes too long? Give me a break. I've half a mind to set up my own surveillance system. Point a camera right at the street, catch these snitches in the act. Maybe even live stream it to the whole neighborhood. Snitch cam, we could call it. Let's see how they like being on the other end of the lens for once. And don't even get me started on the fines. Oh, they haven't hit me with any yet, but I know it's coming. Well, I've got news for them. They can send me all the fines they want. I'll appeal every single one. I'll show up to every hearing with a PowerPoint presentation, witness testimonies, and a full legal brief. They want to waste my time, I'll waste theirs right back. I've even thought about getting the local news involved. Can you imagine the headlines? Local man terrorized by HOA over parking. I bet they'd love that kind of publicity. Maybe I'll start a blog, document every single interaction. Day 47 of the Great Parking War. Still no sign of the elusive photo snapper. Tensions remain high, but you know what really kills me? The pettiness of it all. We've got real problems in this world, real issues to deal with, and these people are worried about where I park my car for a few minutes. It's like they've got nothing better to do with their lives than make everyone else miserable. I've started wondering about these board members, you know. What kind of lives do they lead that this is what gives them joy? Do they go home at night, kick back in their recliners, and think, boy, I really showed that guy with the car today. What a great use of my time and energy. Sometimes I fantasize about just packing up and moving, finding a place where I can park my car wherever the hell I want without Big Brother breathing down my neck. But you know what? That would mean letting them win, and I'm not about to give them that satisfaction. So here I am, plotting my revenge like some kind of suburban supervillain. It's not how I imagine spending my free time, but hey, they started this war. I'm just the guy who's gonna finish it. I've got to admit though, part of me is almost enjoying this. It's like a game of chess, each of us trying to outmaneuver the other. They make a move, I counter. They push, I push back harder. It's giving me something to focus on, a purpose beyond just the daily grind of work and life. But at the end of the day, I can't help but wonder, is this really what community is supposed to be about? Shouldn't we be looking out for each other, not trying to catch each other, breaking some arbitrary rule? Shouldn't we be focusing on making our neighborhood a better place to live, not a battlefield of petty grievances? I don't have the answers. All I know is that I'm not backing down. They picked the wrong guy to mess with. I've got time, I've got skills, and I've got a whole lot of pent-up frustration to channel into this fight. So bring it on, HOA. You want a war? You've got one. Let's see who comes out on top in this battle of wills. One thing's for sure, it's going to be one hell of a ride. I say that it was there less than the allowed time, being as there aren't time-stamped before and after pictures of the car establishing that it was there longer than the allowed time. There is no proof that a violation occurred. Unless further proof can be provided, I will consider this matter as closed and dismissed, as this is a clear situation of hearsay and the violation was given in error. Agree that without a timestamp, a photo of the offending car is really not proof of the offense when the clock is ticking. If I was in the mood, I would be e-blasting each time I was going to be unloading or loading my car in the driveway. I would send a follow-up e-blast announcing the removal of the car. I would encourage my like-minded neighbors to do the same. I moved into my townhouse a few months back and quickly realized just how crazy one of my neighbors is. The day after the old owners moved out, there was an ordinance violation from the city on my door saying we left trash out on the curb too long. The old owners called the trash company to pick up their stuff when they moved, but Karen still sent a notice on them to the city because she hated them. She even told us she was specifically being petty because they never took care of their property. And that's where my issue with her comes in. There's a little front area with a tree and space for flowers and bushes, and the old owners did neglect it a bit. So the first thing I did was rip out all the old dead plants. I covered the ground with new soil and spread some seed mix for pollinating flowers. There was no life in that old soil, so I figured I'd just spread this mix and see what grows. A few weeks later, I get a warning in my mail from the HOA that there's too many weeds and I have to pull them out. I text the president and say it's flowers budding and they're not weeds. She says fine, and that's done. Everything overgrew a tad, so I went out and ripped out all the overgrown plants and trimmed it down. Yesterday, someone from the HOA was out in the front trimming the budding branches off the front tree. I've never seen her, so I go out to ask what they're doing. She says she's with the HOA, and I go back inside. I go back to my office, which overlooks the front, and lo and behold, Karen is shit-talking me to the HOA lady for 10 minutes. She's making crazy gestures to our house and throwing out accusations about how we don't take care of the property. No one wants to look at it. Look at how pretty theirs is, etc. She also throws some of our other neighbors under the bus, including one who has the giant mailbox for all the units at the end of their driveway. She said even though it's city property, they should be taking care of it. How dare they? So Tuesday night is a board meeting, and I'm considering going just to shut down Karen, but I'm not sure what approach to bring to the table. Do I be overly nice and maliciously compliant? Do I be petty and bitch back? I could bring up that Karen throws a garage sale every single weekend for her insane couponing stock she can't get rid of, and cars always block my driveway because of it. I don't know what to do, and this is my first time dealing with an HOA, so how should I proceed? Update, 10/25. Went to the meeting yesterday, and it was only a few people on the board plus Karen, who I guess is an alternate. She looked pissed when I walked over and said to everyone, "She's my new neighbor, the one that moved into the crazy people's house," you might ask. Why were the previous owners crazy? Because she never saw them leave the house. Frankly, they were probably smart if they were able to avoid her 24/7 surveillance of the driveway. I went into the conversation with an open mind and waited for her to make any comments. I at least was able to put in that some people may be unaware of their regulations regarding landscaping, and making that explicit and as objective as possible would be helpful, so I'm glad I went. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure the HOA would try to leave it up to subjective judgments. Also, some noted that the HOA probably knows she's loony, but they think she's perfectly normal, even after she said she cuts the grass missed by the contractor lawnmower with scissors. The day after the meeting, I decided to take a closer look at the HOA rules and city ordinances. Maybe there was something in there that could help me deal with Karen's constant harassment. I found out that there are specific rules about garage sales and home businesses. According to the city ordinance, you need a permit to have a garage sale more than twice a year. Karen has one every weekend. I also discovered that the HOA has rules about how often you can have garage sales and where visitors can park. This information might come in handy. I also started documenting everything. Every time Karen did something crazy, I wrote it down. I took pictures of her garage sales, the cars blocking my driveway, and any other violations I could find. I figured if I ever needed to present my case to the HOA or the city, having evidence would be crucial. One weekend, I decided to confront Karen about the garage sales. I walked over to her driveway, where she was setting up tables full of her couponing stock. "Hey Karen," I said, trying to keep my voice friendly. "I noticed you have a lot of garage sales. Do you have a permit for them?" She looked at me like I had just asked her the most ridiculous question in the world. "A permit for a garage sale? Are you serious?" Yet I looked it up. The city requires a permit if you have more than 2 garage sales a year. And the HOA has rules about it too. Karen's face turned red with anger. "You think you can just move in here and start telling me what to do? I've lived here for 20 years. I know the rules better than you do." "Well, I just thought I'd let you know," I said, trying to stay calm. "Because if someone reports you, you could get fined." Karen scoffed. "You wouldn't dare." I shrugged and walked back to my house. I didn't want to escalate things further, but I hoped she would at least think twice about having another garage sale. A few days later, I got a letter from the city. It was a notice of violation for having an unpermitted garage sale. Apparently, someone had reported Karen. I couldn't help but feel a small sense of satisfaction. Maybe now she would realize that she couldn't just do whatever she wanted. But Karen didn't back down. She doubled down. She started having garage sales twice a weekend, and the cars blocking my driveway became a regular occurrence. I knew I had to do something more. I decided to go to the next HOA meeting and bring up the issue. I gathered all my evidence and prepared what I was going to say. When the meeting started, I raised my hand and waited for my turn to speak. "Hi, I'm the new neighbor," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "I've been having some issues with Karen's garage sales. According to the city ordinance, you need a permit to have more than 2 garage sales a year, and she's having them every weekend. The cars are blocking my driveway, and it's becoming a real problem." The board members looked at each other, and then at Karen. She was glaring at me with pure hatred. "She's lying," Karen said. "I don't have garage sales every weekend, and even if I did, it's none of her business." "Actually, it is my business," I said, trying to keep my cool, "because it's affecting my property and my ability to get in and out of my driveway. One of the board members, a middle-aged man with glasses, spoke up. "Karen, we've had complaints about your garage sales before. You need to follow the rules like everyone else." Karen looked like she was about to explode. "This is ridiculous. I've lived here for 20 years. I know the rules better than anyone." "Well, the rules apply to everyone," the man said, "including you. If you continue to have unpermitted garage sales, we will have to take further action." Karen stormed out of the meeting, slamming the door behind her. I felt a small sense of victory, but I knew this wasn't the end. Karen wasn't the type to back down easily. Over the next few weeks, things escalated even more. Karen started spreading rumors about me to the other neighbors. She told them I was trying to get everyone in trouble with the HOA, and that I was a troublemaker. Some of the neighbors believed her, and I started getting dirty looks and cold shoulders from people I had never even spoken to. I tried to ignore it, but it was hard. I felt like I was being ostracized in my own neighborhood. I started to wonder if moving here had been a mistake. But I wasn't going to let Karen drive me out. This was my home now, and I was going to stand my ground. One evening, I was out in my front yard pulling weeds and trying to make the best of my little garden, when Karen walked by with her dog. She stopped in front of my house and glared at me. "You think you're so smart, don't you?" she said. I looked up at her, trying to stay calm. "I'm just trying to follow the rules, Karen, like everyone else." "You're not like everyone else," she said, her voice dripping with venom. "You're a troublemaker, and you're not welcome here." I stood up and faced her. "This is my home now, Karen. I'm not going anywhere, and if you keep harassing me, I'll report you to the HOA and the city. So maybe you should think about following the rules yourself." She stared at me for a moment, then turned and walked away, muttering under her breath. I watched her go, feeling a mix of anger and determination. I wasn't going to let her bully me out of my own home. The next day, I decided to take things a step further. I called the city and asked about the rules for garage sales and home businesses. They confirmed that Karen needed a permit for her garage sales, and that she was in violation of the ordinance. They also told me that if she continued to have unpermitted sales, she could be fined. Armed with this information, I went to the next HOA meeting and presented my case. I showed them the pictures I had taken of Karen's garage sales, the cars blocking my driveway, and the letter from the city. The board members listened carefully, and I could see some of them nodding in agreement. "Thank you for bringing this to our attention," the man with glasses said. "We will look into this and take appropriate action." Karen was furious. She accused me of lying and trying to get her in trouble. But the evidence was clear, and the board members weren't buying her excuses. A few days later, Karen received a notice from the city informing her that she was in violation of the ordinance and that she needed to stop having garage sales without a permit. She was also fined for the previous violations. I felt a sense of relief and satisfaction. Maybe now Karen would realize that she couldn't just do whatever she wanted. But I knew this wasn't the end. Karen wasn't the type to give up easily, and I had a feeling she would find some other way to make my life difficult. But for now, I was going to enjoy my small victory. I had stood up to Karen and shown her that I wasn't going to be bullied. This was my home, and I was going to fight for it. Check what the rules are for incorrect parking and what the towing service is. Contact the towing service for the property. Look for the signs that say violators will be towed and call the number for getting towed cars back. Talk to them about the ongoing problem of a blocked driveway and ask how long it takes them to respond to a call. Start towing her customers. Towing company makes money on each tow. Say nothing to her. Decline to respond to her. You serve her with a notice that you are suing her for harassment and do it in front of the HOA. Let the HOA know they are not a part of the lawsuit and that it's on her and her alone. Small claims court is your friend. This works great since she's an old effing hag and I bet on a fixed income. Remind her I will sue you over and over again. I will make you my personal pet project. Make sure everyone hears this and that it's all going to be done by the book in civil court. She has been served in public and you have the entire room to witness it. I bet you it will stop. So is the HOA responsible for keeping up with trees, or are you? Because I don't understand why you would get a violation notice for weeds and then someone else would trim your tree. Just wondering. I would be petty, but that is me. Look over what the ordinances are for garage sales. In my town, there is one that you can only have 2 in a calendar year. People do have more and no one cares, but if someone wanted to kick up a fuss, they could on that regard.
I would like to thank you for watching the video to the end. To encourage us to make more videos, please like, subscribe, comment, as well as share. Check out this other video if you haven't already.